What's happening, people? It's another episode of the Giants, guys. Yes, I am late. I apologize. I was coaching some football, which is super cool thing to do, right? I need some extra light on in here. Wow, I'm all blinded. Like, that's way too bright. All right, cool. I'm going to get the guys in here. So I apologize for being late. You're listening and watching another episode of the Giants, guys. I'm a sweaty mess. I was coaching linebackers today. I was coaching cornerbacks today. It's an awesome day for a ton of reasons. So thanks for hanging out with us. I'm going to bring in the boys because, of course, they're also part of the Giants guys. It's not Giants guy. So let's bring in the truth. What's up, Mike?
What's up? What's up, Fred?
What's going on?
Not much.
Let's get Chris in here. Chris has got his glasses on his head, so I see him like in the background. He looks like he's got like 4 eyes. Bang. Yo, Chris.
Hey, what's up, Greg? Hey, Mike.
Right.
Hey.
Guys, how pumped are you guys? This is craziness. Like, okay, let's take it calm. 1, this is the Giants, guys. 2, it's basically football season, right? Because we've been reading, writing, watching, going to camp, all sorts of stuff. So I'm just going to, of course, tell you that we're brought to you by Astroflave, which is a new age supplement. You guys all should go out and check it out, astroflave.com. Whether you're a gym rat, whether you're a weekend warrior, whether you just need a meal replacement, whether you're banging plates, you're doing CrossFit, you need a little bit of something, you could stack them. They got great stuff there. Now, I will say my favorite stuff is definitely not available right now. Okay, but that's the chocolate peanut butter. I love it. Anyway, we love the guys at Astroflave, so make sure you guys check those guys out. Gentlemen, I'm going to read a list here to tell you how freaking cool this is time of year. 1, the Giants announced 7 names that will be entering the Ring of Honor. We have cuts. We got guys getting signed. We got injuries. We got guys that are not engaged in actually doing any work. And we got a preseason game coming up. There's probably a bunch of other storylines too, but there's only so much time in the day. So at 8:20 p.m. here on a Tuesday, like we always are, and I was a little bit late because I had to get my coaching credential, and that ran a little bit long. So I apologize.
I hope you passed.
But thanks for tuning in.
Did you pass?
I did. I passed.
Good.
My felony charges are long in the past. So let's dig into this, gentlemen. I'm sure you're aware that the Giants announced 7 names into the Ring of Honor. For anyone that doesn't know what the Ring of Honor is, if you're in the stadium, it actually is the facade, the ring around the stadium. The New York Giants have always honored their top players, their best players, their players that have contributed to the franchise in ways that you can only dream about. Of course, your Y.A. Tittles and your Giffords and your Lawrence Taylors, that kind of crew is in there. And this new class, gentlemen, is 7, which is a lot. Like they might have to bring down a billboard or something, or maybe make the TV screens smaller to add on some names. So let's go over these names real quick, and then I'm going to play a quick kick-ass video. 1, any of these names, Truth, jump out at you, long overdue, outside our friend? There's 2 specific names that are alumni that are no longer living. Truth, what do you think about Rote and Patton?
Well, give me a list again because I didn't see the whole list that you obviously have. Let me hear the list.
All right, so I guess you would consider it the alumni, the older group of guys that are no longer around is Jimmy Patton. Okay, so Jimmy Patton's getting in, and Kyle Rote.
Kyle Rote, yeah, 2 good players.
Yes, yeah. So those 2 gentlemen are no longer with us, but they are getting in. Then there's this I got to tell you, super cool wave of running backs. Joe Morris, O.J. Anderson, and my favorite, flying high Rodney Hampton. And then, of course, to round that off, our good buddy, Leonard Marshall. So, Truth, any of those guys jump out at you that maybe should have gone in a little earlier, or you're just glad to see him get in?
Well, yeah. Well, you talk about the two old timers you named, Pat and Rolf. They should have been a long time ago. They were phenomenal players, and of course, these were before our times. I love the other guys that got in, and I'm kind of surprised that Roddy Hadley got in only because of his injuries, but he was lightning when he was healthy on the Giants. I mean, he could have been, barring injuries, that guy could have been something for the Giants. Really, he could have set a lot of records.
Yeah. I mean, in franchise history, if you go like Giants, Mount Rushmore, you could probably go maybe Webster, Gifford, Morris, Hampton, Barber, there's if you're right, he did get injured, but he had 4 or 5 unbelievable years. I always consider him, Chris, I always consider him the original 27. Because after that, they gave it to Ron Dane, and they gave it to I think they might have given it to Andre Brown. They've been passing 27 around for years, but to me, it was even Jacobs. Yeah. So any of these names, Chris, Rote, Patton, our good friend Leonard Marshall, OJ, any of these guys, like a fan favorite to you, or anything stick out for you?
One thing that stuck out with Jimmy Patton, I mean, I'm before my time, but the guy had like 52 interceptions and had like 11 in like 1958. So, and that was in a league where they played only 12 games and they didn't throw the ball. Yeah. So that's unbelievable. But Joe Morris, I mean, he's, when Giants are waiting to get back to the playoffs, I mean, he was right there in the front, to lead the way. I mean, when you talk about Sims in the Ring of Honor, Bavaro and those guys from 86, I mean, how could you not have Joe Morris with that, offensive line in front of him blocking? I mean, Joe Morris, I believe, was long overdue as well.
Yeah.
Well, and you're right.
He's not a Hall of Famer, but Ring of Honor, when you talk about how this team in the 80s made that turn, he was part of it, a big part of it.
You don't win a Super Bowl without Joe Morris. I mean, like, you just don't. I mean, the guy was ground and pound, and he made unbelievable, because he was a tiny guy.
Yeah, and just for the younger guys, he squatted over 500 pounds.
Just 600 pounds, Chris. 600 pounds.
Wasn't that much? Yeah. I mean, and you always heard defensive linemen and linebackers, they could never find them, right? Just like you hear about some of the guys today, like Boston Scott with the Eagles, you could never find him. Imagine Joe Morris, right? Even smaller. Can't find him behind the line, so.
Okay, and of course, way long overdue. We have been behind this one for quite some time. Is our LSU buddy, Leonard Marshall? Congrats, Leonard.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. I mean, you're talking about third all time in sacks, second all time in tackles. I mean, and he's a quality human being. He was a great interview. I've gotten really friendly with him and some of his family members, and just good people. I'm really super excited for him. So just so you guys know, we've known for a long time he was going in, but we promised that we wouldn't say anything, and we honored that. But we did make the Leonard Marshall, T-shirt that we have. We're trying to fill the stadium with Leonard Marshall 70s. Because we want Mara to know it was a good choice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this for you, gentlemen, because I downloaded this. This is, listen, the man had a long career with the Giants. It's long overdue. I mean, when you think of defensive players, honestly, when you think of defensive players in the 80s and the early 90s, of course you go LT. Of course you go Harry Carson. Of course you go Carl Banks. But then you go Leonard Marshall. Mm-hmm. Again, I'll say it for you guys in the back. Third all-time in sacks. Mm-hmm. Second all-time in tackles. This guy is an enormous boost to that 86 through 91 defense, right? And if you want to hear the interview, you can go to the Giants guys on YouTube, watch the interview. He will tell you some unbelievable stories about what was it like getting a contract to play with the Giants. It wasn't easy, folks. I know that, they give money out now like it grows on trees. One of your best players, they ask him to like basically take a special teams type of contract. I mean, it's aggravating to say the least, but exciting that he made it. And this gentleman is for all you fans out there that maybe don't know who Leonard is and the people who do.
Reason's 30-yard run set up a field goal that got the Giants to within 1 point before the 49ers were dealt the most severe blow they could have imagined, courtesy of Giants defensive end Leonard Marshall, number 70.
Montana looking, plenty of time, rolls away, now runs away.
Marshall had fired the shot heard round the football world.
And Montana was plotted.
Leonard Marshall caught him with his helmet right in the middle of the back, upper part of the back. A good legit hit.
Woo! I mean, if
I play football right now.
if that don't fire you up, you are dead, people. Okay, listen, I'm going to play it again because what I want you to pay attention to is this. The 49ers, okay, fullback Tom Rathman was a mean dude.
Mm-hmm.
He throws Leonard to the ground, okay? Leonard is on his face, okay? Like he's out of the play. He's out of the play, all right? And then Lawrence Taylor overshoots Montana.
Yep.
And then Leonard bear crawls. You want to know why your kids bear crawl? If you're a football dad out there or a football mom and you watch your kids do bear crawls in football practice, this is why. This is exactly why they do bear crawls. Because a 280-pound man bear crawled his way to putting Joe Montana out of a career. Okay, Joe Montana didn't play until another down for the San Francisco 49ers. When he came back, he went to the Chiefs. He was done. They carted his ass off. All right, watch this play.
Craig, wait, before you do that, you made a great point about LT, what he did. That gave Marshall that half a second to get him because it made Montana stop.
Yep.
And he was a sitting duck right after that.
Think about it, Truth. If he doesn't stop, Taylor blows his ass up too, right?
Yeah.
All right. Want you guys to watch this one more time. Hang in there, folks. I am telling you, this gentleman's going to the Ring of Honor. We hope you guys will invest, the $20 for a T-shirt and support him. Yes, you might not know who he is, but this is why you should know.
Reason's 30-yard run set up a field goal that got the Giants to within 1 point before the 49ers were dealt the most severe blow they could have imagined, courtesy of Giants defensive end Leonard Marshall, number 70.
Montana looking, plenty of time, rolls away, now runs away.
Marshall had fired the shot heard round the football world.
And Montana was plotted.
Leonard Marshall caught him with his helmet right in the middle of the back, upper part of the back. A good legit hit.
Woo! I'm still fired up. Oh man, you got it. That is what football used to be like for you young kids. That's what football used to be like, and that's how the game was played, where quarterbacks got their ass kicked. Okay,
Yeah.
So Leonard Marshall going in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
We salute you, my friend, and we are stoked that we have become fast friends. In the store, nygiantsrush.com. Go check out the store right there. It says Rush Store. You can check it out. Drop-down menu. You can buy a shirt. In fact, hold it right there. I'll show you what it looks like. All right. So we have the old school Giants logo. Okay, that's the logo they wore in the 80s, my friends, okay? All right. We're selling them. We're going to fill the stadium up with 7. I hope you guys will support. The money that we raise is actually going to the Leonard Marshall Foundation, which, by the way, goes to supporting secure and safe college campuses. Okay, you can look it up. It's the Leonard Marshall Foundation. It's a really, really unique and cool foundation that supports colleges with education and security and all sorts of stuff. Education on just making college campuses more safe. Okay, which is always a super cool thing that probably doesn't get enough attention paid to it. So thanks, Leonard, for all you do. And please, if you have a shirt, tell a friend. If you don't have a shirt, think about it. It's a $20, investment, and we'd love to fill that stadium up with 70s. Show Mr. Mara that it was a good decision.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to get you guys involved here. I've done enough talking. Let's talk about camp. Let's just talk about camp. Chris and I went to camp on Sunday. We watched a little bit. Truth, I'll start with you. I know you weren't at camp, but I know you love to follow what what goes along. Anything about camp? Let's not talk about cuts or bubble guys yet. Anything about camp that sticks out for you that should be noteworthy?
No, there was a brief thing today that I saw, and I saw the press conference with the head coach, and he was going to give Taylor more snaps for the first unit. And I think a lot of people made a big deal out of that. And I don't see it as a bad thing for Daniel Jones. I just see it as something of a precaution. So Taylor could get used to snaps with the first unit. So that's the main thing I saw.
Okay. Chris, anything, camps, folding up, it's done, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you get? Like anything at all that jumped out at you that like maybe, hey, wow, look at that, or something maybe you were disappointed in?
Aziz, we were there the other day, and he didn't really play much on the 11-on-11s. He did some work on the side, but from what I'm hearing is he's fast. Obviously, he's big, but he looks very fresh and he's fast. So he took that a couple days. The patchwork on the offensive line. I'm still concerned about this team gelling on the offensive line because there's these injuries right now.
Well,
these guys need to play together, and that's the concern I have right now is the gelling of that offensive line.
Yeah, so Lemieux has a toe issue. Azudu is kind of banged up in some way. The good thing is this, guys, is Azudu can play guard and tackle. So once he's healthy, it was a good draft pick. I was not high on the draft pick, but watching Chris and I watched him play, and he's a good player.
Yeah,
he's a good player. But yes, the offensive line is a concern once again. I'm not sure Feliciano is the answer at center. Lemieux is hurt again. I think Lemieux is going to be fine. But to Chris's point, the reason why this team has sucked for so long, let's just call it what it is. The line has sucked for this long. Okay? It just has. Like the offensive line, I think the last 2 years are ranked 28, 29, 30th. They're always terrible. Glowinski was a great pickup. Neal, great pickup. Thomas is going to have a great year. Those three guys look great. The center and the left guard are a little bit suspect. If Azudu wasn't injured, I think I would feel a lot better.
Yeah, and they rushed for 177 yards in the preseason game against the Patriots. Now, it was against their 2s and 3s, but, that was good to see that they were able to run the ball, and the offensive line actually had a push. So hopefully these guys get back.
Bredesen played well. You got to give that guy a lot of kudos. He played really well.
I think we're going to see him at guard. If Feliciano can go, I mean, it's so very gray area with Feliciano. Is it dehydration? What is it? Because he's missed a couple days. I think he was back today, maybe a little bit. I guess Brederson may be at center if he can't go, and then you'll see, Max Garcia at guard. I hope Feliciano comes back because you're going to need him to take Lemieux's spot.
They did sign that cat from Detroit.
Holden. I haven't heard much about him. So
Didn't he play? Will Holden? I saw him playing.
Okay, I didn't know really how he did.
He played in the fourth quarter. I saw him playing.
Yeah. So. How'd he do? He
looked okay. I mean, they had that last drive that they scored, so he did a good job. I mean, I think they all did that third string, whatever they are, that unit. Right. I think they did a good job.
It'll probably take them some time to pick up the language and so forth.
Right.
But let's dig in a little bit deeper. Okay, we know that the offensive line is a work in progress, but we've got a decent feeling that they can run block. This may be a team that we may have to run the ball 20, 22 times, or throw those bubble screens to Barkley or those flood passes to Barkley. Like, we may not be able to go downfield because we can all admit that the passing game still looks like crap. Okay. And there's a couple of reasons why. Chris, I'm going to start with you on this. It's stuck. It's a thorn in my side. Mm-hmm. We were going into the season complaining about the DBs, and the DBs look pretty weak. And that is a concern. Now I'm just as concerned about the wide receivers all over again. Like, I mean, and I'll go down the line. Your number one is not a number one who doesn't really seem like he cares because he got paid $74 million. I tweeted out this afternoon that he is literally getting paid top 20 wide receiver money. There is 193 wide receivers in the NFL. He's getting paid as a top 20, and he's non-existent, Chris. He's non-existent in practice or anywhere. Well,
he did well today. I mean, they got on the ball. I think he did 7 for 7 on throws to him. But I think we've all ganged up on Golladay, right? I mean, look, before Jones went down, he didn't have any touchdowns, but he actually was getting receptions in the game and some yards after the catch. You know, when you're talking Fromm and Glennon, everything went downhill. And I know everybody focuses on the alligator arms. He didn't lay out. Yeah, he probably should have laid out. But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I really think he has something to prove. I really do. I think he knows that, he needs to show better. And I think in this system, he's motivated. So we got to give him, see when the bullets start flying for real. September 11th.
All right. Well, I will give you that. I will give you that. I want to be optimistic about it. Yeah. I just have like an issue with, he drops the ball, he's throwing his helmet or whatever. He's getting all pissy because I just don't see it. He just doesn't seem like a guy to me who wants to grind for $74 million. You know what I mean? But let's keep moving down the pipe. Truth. Tony, he's hurt again.
Mystery, right? And I try to read up on that today, see what's the story, like what is the injury? Everything's an unknown. And there's a lot of guys, they have unknown. So I don't know. I can't figure this kid out. It looked like the other day he was fine running routes, and I saw on YouTube he looked good. Then suddenly he don't play the first preseason game. Now he's missing MIA right now. So I can't figure it out.
Chris and I were there at training camp on Sunday, and he was, on the sidelines, working jugs machines and stuff like that, just standing around. And it's just disappointing because, like, we were talking about this last year. We talked about it all through the season. It's the same story, right? Let me open up the comments here to see. Hey, Mark Thompson, what's happening? Glad you're in here. Of course, Sarah, what's up? Glad you guys are jumping in here. I remember that hit. I hope you remember that hit, Mark Thompson. I think everybody remembers that hit. Joe Montana, trust me, still remembers that hit. So, like, the Tony thing is just under my skin because I'm just tired, man. Like, it's year 2. He's still hurt. He still has issues.
Craig, we've been down this road in truth with these giant players that have this history. It reminds me of, and it's a different style of player and not as electric as Tony, but Sonoris Moss, right? We expected Sonoris Moss to be like his brother Santana. But even going back to Miami, he had all those injuries. When he came to the Giants, he always had the nagging hamstring, could never get on the field. And now Tony, going back to Florida where he had some injuries, I feel like it's the same thing. It's just not going to end. It's just constantly something. Is he that fragile? But it's always something that is holding him back injury-wise.
It's a horrible rerun. That's what it is.
Yeah. So
I mean, my thing is that, like, we all defended him, then we got mad, then we defended him. I'm tired of the ping pong. Like, get on the field and play. Get on the field and play. I mean, like, and then, like Truth just said, you don't even really know what's wrong with him.
Right. Although I will say this, guys. If this was week 2, week 1, going into the first game, do a lot of these guys practice, right? I mean, maybe they held these guys back because you are in the third, you're only going into the second preseason game. And I get the feeling that, you had 20 guys the other day that did not practice, that were off to the side.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes me wonder if this was a regular season, do a lot of these guys do practice and he's just holding him back, being more cautious, like he was with Aziz, right? He didn't want to tweak that hamstring, held him out those first 3 weeks, and now he's back. So I'm kind of trying to take a little bit of solace in that maybe Dable is being extra cautious here, so he goes into week 1 with healthy players.
And I hope so, because again, like, it's another first round draft pick bust. Like, and I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm just saying that he's on the path to be a bust. And by the way, a bust doesn't mean he doesn't have talent. The bust is just he can't produce. You know what I mean? Like Jamarcus Russell had talent, but when he got in the league, he couldn't produce. He couldn't push through the talent. And if Tony can't push through the talent, then he's just a rapper. Right now he's supposed to be a football player.
Yeah, and last year the Giants did lead the league in games lost by their players. And I'm looking at the report today. They have 3 guys on PUP. They have 19 guys injured. I mean, that's a lot on your roster that you have. And a lot of them are showing unknown, like I said earlier.
Yeah, so there's a Blake Martinez. No one knows what's him. He's just not there.
Well, I did read something on him today saying that they're holding him back and he'll be ready by opening day. They said they're just caution with him. They're not going to let him
tight on everything. Like Azuda, it's very vague even with Azuda what the issue is.
Yeah.
I'll really keep moving down the wide receiver chain because that's, again, like I think we're going to get smoked on the DB side of the ball, but I think our pass rush may make up for it. Jones stands whether Jones is good or Jones is bad, I just don't think he's going to have the right opportunity because now we got a banged up line and we got these receivers. So you want to give Galladay a little bit of a pass. Mark, I'm going to put this up on screen because Mark Thompson, of course, always has got great research and a great point. KG balled out in the first 2 games, laid out a Cetera, then tweaked something. The Saints game wasn't bad, and then everything fell apart. Remember, KG had 129 yards in game 1. Great point, Mark. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But it just feels like ancient history. You know what I mean? Like after that great game, where did he go? I would think he would want to come back with a little bit of a vengeance this year.
Well, after Jones, he had nobody. I mean, the whole offense looked like a high school.
Yeah, they were Glennon and From a horrible.
No, I mean right now. Right now he doesn't look like. I just watched a couple clips on YouTube. Him running routes. He looks like he's in slow motion. And then Tony runs him, and Tony's like lightning fast.
But he was never a burner. Gallup was never a burner. He just used his size.
But it makes him look kind of half-assing it. That's my point. I'm not saying he is half-assing it. I'm just saying that the aura, what he's putting out, makes it just like he looks disengaged. All right, but once we give him a pass, we can go to Tony.
Craig, and off that, week 1, he makes that diving catch on the sideline. He puts he high points it. Everybody will forget. He's got to show out for the New York fans and show it.
That's it. They just want to see you want to be here. They paid him $74.
New York fans are forgiving, right? Giants fans are forgiving. If we'll beat you up, but as soon as you rebound and you show it, we're going to love you again. And that's what he needs to do. He needs to earn that love back.
That's what they are.
Yeah. At the end of the day, everybody wants to like Galladay. They're just waiting for him to do something for $74 million.
Yeah.
All right. So now we come down to the third guy. Robinson. Okay. Robinson, great pick. He's I don't think you're seeing everything basically.
You're not.
Yeah. They're not, even though it's probably installed, they're probably not going to show you a lot what Robinson can do. They don't want to give that away. Your fourth guy would be Shepard. Shepard's on injured reserve. So right away you're looking at Colin Johnson. And
doing good. He's doing good.
Yeah. Truth. That kid can play.
Got good size. I mean, 6'6", he actually showed some separation a lot of his routes that he ran that first game.
And truth, when Craig and I were at camp on Sunday, if you didn't have the numbers on Galladay and Colin Johnson, they look exactly the same, right? Right, Craig? The body types are so similar.
Yeah, if you put those guys, Truth, in just blue jerseys with no numbers, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart, except for one did nothing and one was catching.
You might think the opposite of the other one, right? I mean, there's guy, right? You wouldn't know.
Colin Johnson is going to make this team. And
I think so.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He might be the number 5.
And James, that's still James in there too.
Yep, and I'm working down the group to James.
Okay.
So. And I'm glad you brought it up, Truth, because I like James, but he drops one out of every 4 balls. He just does. He's got good speed, but me and Chris literally watched him drop 2 routine balls, and everyone was like,
After I was pumping him up with you too, and then he drops on. I'm like, oh, geez.
He did good in a preseason game though. He didn't look bad at all.
No, and again, it's not that he looks bad. It could be nerves. It could be anything, right? It could be a little rust. I don't know. But it seems like he has a knack for dropping a ball, an easy ball, here or there. And then I guess if you continue to come down, you know, that next group of receivers, there's 3 or 4 of them, which is Bachman, Sills,
Slayton.
number 5,
Doss.
Oh, Doss.
Doss, which I don't think is going to make the team. And I think Bachman and Sills might be practice squad guys again.
Let me just say right now, because of we haven't gone through who got cut today, but I think there's 13 guys now, wide receivers in camp, and history tells us that the Giants usually keep 6 to 7 on the opening day roster. So we still got a lot of guys who's going to be fighting for that one spot. And Chris had just mentioned somebody that we should talk about, who's probably going to be a candidate. A surprise cut, so you can talk about him, Chris. You just mentioned his name.
All right, well then let's do this, gentlemen. I'll put a bow on training camp. The offense still does not look very dynamic, except for Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is hitting the hole. He looks fast. He's catching the ball in the backfield. He made a couple nice blocks when me and Chris were there. Saquon Barkley is going to have a nice year. He just, I think whether he stays or he goes, maybe he wants out because he's taking a lot of heat. But to put a bow on it, I thought Jones looked good in his preseason game. He did not look good on Sunday in camp, but he didn't look bad. But he didn't look great. Tyrod, I thought, looked a little better, but not great. He has a tendency to loft the ball. Tyrod, he doesn't have a lot of zip on his ball. His ball kind of floats.
Craig, how does Barkley look? Does he look quick? Like he has a good acceleration?
Beyond quick. He looks literally like he was like his rookie year. I mean, he is stepping in and through the hole like faster than I've seen it. We've all seen the video of him laying out Robinson with the shoulder. He's up the sidelines fast. He's through the hole fast. If he keeps that downhill mentality, I think he's going to have a great year. He looks better. He looks way better than he did last year. Last year he looked slow.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
So the offense is definitely behind the defense. The defense, I think, from a linebacker perspective and a defensive front perspective are loving Winks, go, type of defense. The DBs, I mean,
Robinson.
We'll leave that for another show.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what to do with any of them outside of McKinney and Love, and Jackson. I'd get rid of all of them. Every one of them I'd probably get rid of.
Didn't look good.
No. All right, so let's move into, and thanks again for watching another episode of the Giants Guys, brought to you by Astroflave. Of course, YouTube is the Giants Guys. That's the podcast, which we are doing live right now. Let's see here. It's a penalty now. Harry, what is a penalty now? What did I miss?
Leonard Marshall hit.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my buddy. I know that guy.
Oh, hey, Harry, thanks for hanging out. By the way, Harry, everything's a penalty now. I mean, did you watch some of the preseason games? I mean, the quarterback is literally as the ball leaving his fingertips and he got hit and they called
unbelievable.
Rough. Yeah. Everything's a penalty now. And by the way, preseason, they like to set the tone.
Yeah.
So the refs throw a ton of penalties. But yeah, you're right. That would have been spearing or unnecessary roughness or something. What's up, Sarah? Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a different era. You can't play like that. You can't play like you actually want to win. So, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is the day where you get the what would I call it? You get the notice that coach wants to see you in his office. You're getting undressed after practice, and what do you get? Hey, Ricky Seals Jones Jr., with the guy with the 4 names. Coach wants to see you in your office. And when you get the notice that coach wants to see you in his office,
that's got to be a horrible feeling.
It's got to be a horrible feeling.
And Craig, years ago, they used to tell you to bring your playbook. Now they tell you to bring the iPad. Everything's on the right.
Yeah. That's 100% accurate, by the way.
Something not right about that. That's just playbook on paper. That's football.
Yeah.
So, Truth. Let's just keep it short and sweet. Give me give me 3 guys that might be surprise cuts or maybe bubble guys. Give me 3 guys that you think. Well, how about this? Truth, do you know everybody that got cut today?
Yeah.
Okay, read me the list of everybody that got cut today.
You had Jeremiah Hall.
Yep.
You had Gavin, I think it's pronounced Heaslop.
Right.
Heaslop. And you had that kid, Austin, is that Prell?
Pro.
Pro?
Yeah, Pro, because that's Ricky Prohl's son. Ricky Prohl used to be a good receiver for the Cardinals.
Yeah. Really nothing spectacular with these guys. Surprises. Hall is probably out of the 3 the only surprise because he did get a lot of first string snaps, and they were raving about him, but apparently, I guess it wasn't enough. So
they weren't raving enough.
Yeah. So now, with that said, now we have another week to go, and they have 5 more cuts they have to make to get to 80. And so you asked me to pick 3 guys, right?
Yeah, give me an idea who you think is either on the bubble or, like, in your eyes, is just getting a pink slip.
Okay. All right. Now, this is all contingent on injuries because there are some guys who are hobbling right now, and they may not get cut because they may need them to be on the field.
That's right. Spit it out, Truth. Just spit it out.
All right. I'm going to go with Jimenez. I'm going to go with that guy. I have a feeling he's going to be on the bubble, and he could get cut, possibly not this week, but before opening day.
So what's interesting about that is I agree that he's definitely a bubble guy, and he hasn't shown anything because he's injured every year. We're rooting for him because, he came from ODU, first player ever drafted out of Old Dominion. So it was kind of like a cool story, but he hasn't shown anything. The interesting thing about that, Truth, is he's considered, a outside linebacker, but kind of a hybrid DN, right? Because he can play with his hand in the dirt. He might even play most of his snaps with his hand in the dirt, now that I think about it. My question would be is if he got cut, or I'm going to know what? I'm not even going to ask you. I'm going to give it to you, Chris. If Jimenez gets cut, does that open a spot up? What's up, J Bones? Thanks for tuning in. Does that open the door up for Carter Coughlin to go back to outside? Because Carter Coughlin, who was a dynamic pass rusher, at Minnesota, played 1 year at, DN. He was a little bit light because he's only about 235. Yep. They moved him. What's up? What's up, Miz? Thanks for tuning in. They moved Carter Coughlin to middle linebacker to black up Blake because they were desperate for linebackers. If Jimenez goes, Chris, would that impact Coughlin at all, you think?
You'd think so, but the one thing that concerns me is he was running with like the 3s the other night, right? In the preseason.
And he's hurt right now, isn't he, Chris?
I'm sorry?
Isn't Coughlin hurt?
Everything is such in a gray area. He might be on that list. I don't know.
I think he is.
Is he? So I don't know. I feel like Beavers on the outside and the edge. Boy, Beavers, he was flying around. He's had a great camp as a rookie. So I think he's going to be the next guy in, right?
That guy could play both inside and outside.
Yeah, I think Carter's on thin ice. I really do. And there's no allegiance to him from the previous, coaching staff. And I like Carter Coughlin. I just don't, I don't see why he hasn't progressed into, the second team, even or the first team getting more looks. I don't know.
So Chris, yes or no, do you agree or disagree? What's up, Tuto? Nice for you to drop in as always. Chris, the first player on Truth's roster to get the the heave-ho was Jimenez. Are you yes or no there?
I'm going to go no, only because he's had a really good camp. I think Jimenez wins that job doesn't win the job. He's going to get a roster spot, but I feel like Coughlin is going to be the odd man out.
All right, don't be jumping your turn here.
Sorry.
Hang on. All right, Truth. Give me a second guy.
So Chris just went with his guy, or you?
No, I jumped it. Go ahead. Truth.
Yeah, you go with your guys.
Okay. You mentioned him earlier, Craig, by mocking his name a little bit, and I think I think Ricky Seals-Jones is a very good candidate to get cut. He's been hurt.
That cat is, I think, Mike, I already think he's on the Jersey Turnpike. I just think I think they basically drove him down to like exit like 10 and just dropped him off on the side of the road.
And you know what's funny about that? The Giants are the depth at tight end is not very good right now. They got to be careful. So this could be where they could release him, and they may look on the waiver wire and find someone else who gets released from another team and bring them on board.
Yeah, Chris was talking about Cook earlier in the week. So
Jerry Cook.
Yeah. So I'm 50-50 on because he let me down with all his injuries.
Now remember that I said him on the final cuts, not this week.
Yeah, but you're just thinking Jimenez but no doubt Ricky Seals Jr. something, whatever the 5 names he has. He's a goner. All right, give me your last one, Truth, that you think that might be either bubble or cut.
Jamil Douglas. I think he's going to go.
All right, so why do you think he's going to go? Just like odd man out?
Yeah, I just thought he did terribly as a center, and they put that assignment for him. And I think when again, like I mentioned earlier, if health's an issue, everybody's there. I think the Giants should be fine at guard. I mean, you're going to have Lemieux, you're going to have Azuzu, you're going to have Gowinski. They're going to be fine at guard. Even Brendanson could play guard. So I think Brendanson beats him out for that spot. Interesting.
I kind of see that, though. I think that makes sense because he had the shot and he didn't grab the brass ring, so to speak. It's an old school, like, dumb cliche, but he did. He definitely didn't grab the opportunity that he had.
Pulled by the horn, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I like that. The Zimenez one, I'm on 50-50 because I don't know what direction they're going in with these linebackers. But Ricky Seals-Jones Jr., whatever his name is, and Douglas, yeah, I agree with both of those. Chris, give me 3 guys that you think are either bubble or you're like already packing their bag for them.
Well, they're not big names, but they're the bottom of the roster, and I know you like one of them.
Oh, come on. Why you got to go there?
Austin Allen. He hasn't gotten much playing time. We saw him the other day at camp. He was in there a little bit, but this is the reason why. And I do think he'll make the practice squad. They're not going to carry Bellinger, who's a rookie, and Austin Allen, who's a rookie, on the 53. They're going to go out, like Truth was saying, they're going to go and get a veteran somewhere. I don't think they can carry 2 rookie tight ends. So I like the size. We talked about his red zone ability, but I think he gets released, if not at the 80 mark, he'll get released at the 53, and they'll try to grab him and stash him on the practice squad.
I am full-heartedly disagreeing with you because if you let go, listen, well, not that I know anything, I'm a moron, but what I will tell you is that there's not a shot you release a 6'8" tight end and no one picks that guy up. There is a team right now that said, teach him one play, end zone, throw the ball at him. No one's going to let a 6'8" tight end that they're paying like, I don't know, they probably gave him like 2 Twinkies and a pack of Subway cards. Like literally, they're like, here's your easy pass, some Twinkies, and this will get you on the Subway. Like 6'8". He'll never make it through waivers.
But he did go undrafted though, Craig, right? I mean,
I agree, but he's in the league now, so
yeah.
he's there
right now. Yeah, we'll see. But so, I hope he gets on the practice squad. But
I am. Mark Thompson says, yeah, Joey Bones, he's huge. Mark Thompson says Atkins is going too.
Wow.
I'll throw that up there. He says Seals, Jones, and Atkins. Mark, that's a very real possibility if who they like, Myrick has has moved his way into the second spot.
He did a good job blocking when he played that the other day.
But you know what may happen, guys? They may hang on to a couple of these tight ends that initially get cut. They'll make the 53, and then that Monday, 5 guys are coming off that 53 roster because they're going to be canvassing that waiver wire, grabbing tight ends.
All right.
We'll keep them till they can get somebody better on that Monday.
Well, I'm definitely not taking your expert advice on tight end.
Nobody said it was expert.
What else you got?
It's an uneducated guess. How's that?
All right, fair enough. give me another guy.
Okay, we were there the other day, Craig, and I know I was getting a little annoyed. He dropped the pass again in New England. Keelan Doss. I'm surprised he's still on the roster today, actually.
So interesting is that he tries really hard. I mean, the dude runs great hard routes. He's always in some kind of mix-up. He's trying to fight for the ball in traffic. I mean, he's a hard worker. He just doesn't make the plays you need him to make.
Right. You can't trust him. You got to be able to be dependable. 3rd and 6. We've seen it how many years now with number 88 who left town. I don't want to say his name. We can't take it anymore. We need that guy to catch the ball when we need it. And he can't. I don't trust him. And you know what? If he made the team, he'd be buried on the back end of the depth chart running on special teams anyway. You wouldn't see him a game unless 5 of our guys got hurt. So he wouldn't be contributing anyway. So that's another reason why he'll be gone. I don't even know what specials he does, but
he might be a gunner or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So, he's going to be gone.
He's gone. What else you got? Those are 2 new. Do you got anything in there that's like
controversial? Give me a shocker.
I don't have a shocker. All right. I don't have a shocker. I'll tell you my 3rd guy.
You're going to mess with me now.
Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Joshua Corbin, the running back from Florida State.
That's all you got?
Listen, we have depth problems. We need everybody.
We
need everybody. Yeah. We need the roster at the back end. So, in terms of a shocker, you tell me who give me a shocker. Come on, Craig. Give me somebody.
We talked about the one. The shocker to me would be the first one out of the gate would be Carter Coughlin because the guy really can rush the passer. He's a little bit light at 235. But hear me out. My thought is, and Chris, I told you this, I think at training camp, is for you folks that are maybe a little bit on the younger side, in 2011, they ran what they call NASCAR. I'm sure you've heard about it. They ran NASCAR with big, fast guys to chase the quarterback down. So it was like JPP. It was Justin Tuck. It was they had one big guy, which was maybe Chris Canty, and they would bring in Dave Tollefson. And we've interviewed Dave. He's a quality human, good guy. But Dave could get going. He had an unbelievable motor. And when we interviewed him, he said that Tuck used to say, "Hey, Dave, can you come in here and take the double team so I can get the sack?" I mean, so I thought Carter Coughlin could be a guy that could draw a double team, and his pass rushing ability is great because he does bend pretty well around the corner, uses his hands pretty well. He's a little bit light. A big tackle, gets your hands on him, you throw him around. So Carter Coughlin as a middle linebacker is not bad, but now that they've got McFadden and Beavers is more of like a weak side linebacker, an off-ball cover linebacker, but who doesn't tackle great. But I think Carter Coughlin could be one. I definitely don't think that Atkins is making it, and I don't think that Ricky Seals-Jones Jr. something or other. I don't think. Mark, I know Coughlin is the backup on the depth chart. But what we're seeing, like at camp when they line up, is Beavers is starting just as many snaps as Crowder. So Beavers is really coming hard after Crowder's job, and Blake was absent from camp for whatever. I heard COVID. I heard family things. I heard he's got they're bringing him along slow. I heard a bunch of stuff. I have no idea what's wrong with Blake. But guess what? McFadden had a fantastic game against New England. So all offseason, truth, you heard nothing about McFadden, right?
No, not much, no.
And then he played like a rocket ship the other night
He was
around
good.
the ball. Yeah. So, Mark, you are correct that on the depth chart, Carter is Blake's backup, but that could be changing very fast because of how well McFadden played. Cam Brown, the guy's never starting. The guy's just
special teams.
He's a very good special teams player. He'll make
And
the
that's
team.
the reason why he'll make the roster. That's
Yeah.
it. Let me just throw in since Chris wants to play vanilla, with his kids.
I'll give you Carter Coughlin. If you want to think Carter Coughlin's a shocker, I'll give you Carter Coughlin. Then I guess he's a shocker.
I'm gonna go the 53-man roster. I think because of necessity and what the GM Joe Shane needs to do to get more money, I think you may see Slayton get traded or for a pick or whatever. Hopefully they can get something for him. I think he's going because, I think he has like $300,000 dead money only, and he has like $2.5 million. They can throw on there. He may need to get somebody, sign of the guys.
It's not a bad pick since all of a sudden the Patriot game came and guess who was running with the ones?
To show
Slayton.
yeah.
Why do you put him with the ones?
The audition.
Got to show him off. Yep.
That's right.
But would you consider that a shocker? Would we all be shocked? He's the next Ingram in line.
Well,
he's the next one with the
a little bit more
now.
than
We're all gonna
Doss.
go after.
A little bit more than Doss.
All right, let me set it up, guys. Titans, opening day. Giants down by 2, 3rd and 6. I can see it already. Slayton right in the breadbasket. Pops out. Fourth down. 4th and 5. Drops it.
Well, yeah. Okay, so yeah, we definitely all agree with that. Carter Coughlin maybe on the bubble or potentially a cut candidate. I think all the DBs, I think they're all none of them will be like you're not going to get rid of Robinson or anything like that, but they're not very good. So I mean, if any of them go, I wouldn't be shocked because they're see, you know what, Chris, and I told Chris this for 40, 50 years, they used to teach, opening up your hips, running stride for stride with the receiver. And when the receiver eyes got big, looked up for the ball, you snapped your head, turned around, and come back, and you played the ball. Now, because they got rid of face guarding, is no longer a penalty anymore. They basically play back through the receiver's hands, trying to knock the ball out, and they lose that battle all the time. Like I don't know why they don't teach the old school method. And all these DBs, they just think, oh, I'm fast enough, and I'll just face guard them. These guys are so athletic. Yeah, they just reach over the top of them.
I'll tell you, Evans looked worse than Robinson. And that's hard to say. I couldn't believe it. I mean, you might as well put me out there because that same results would have happened.
Hey, Truth, that's a great point because I think we're going to have a hard time keeping up who's on the roster at the cornerback position because with the waiver wire, I think it's going to be a revolving door. One day this guy's on the team, he's out, the next one's coming in. It's going to be that kind of season. Now, Rodarius Williams, he's ready to play soon. I want to see him get some look there at the other spot with Robert.
So do I. Have to see these guys. Yeah, so do I.
I got one shocker for you. And I don't know how many they're going to carry, but I wouldn't. What about Brightwell?
He looked good. I thought he looked good.
He's not. He's going to make the 53, but he won't dress. How's that? Because you're going to have 4. You're going to have Barkley, Breida, Williams. Brightwell will make the team, but he'll be on. He won't dress probably a lot. I don't know.
I could see him. I could see him being a bubble guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, just remember, they still have that COVID rule. You could have 55 on game day. They can have 2 extra guys every game to come. So whoever that could be, it could be anybody from the practice squad, whoever they have. Just so you know that.
And then another.
How do you know that?
There's the other 2, which again they're not shockers, but the Giants don't have a roster full of shockers, right? We don't really have that. But every single day, the 2 guys that are always for 2 years we've been talking about the same 2 guys, Bachman and Sills.
I know.
And we've been talking about these cats. They are like cats. They have 9 lives.
It's going to be tough for them, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I was always pro Sills for a long time. I don't see it anymore. You know what I mean? Where I watched Bachman return kicks and punts last year, like I feel like Bachman can do it all. Like he can play special teams, he can return punts, he can return.
Got a lot of heart.
Got a lot of heart. Runs great routes. I mean, Sills to me doesn't play special teams. I don't see him. I just don't see. I know he's Jones's buddy. Maybe that's strategic. I don't know, but I just don't see him as having. Like he doesn't contribute. You know, I don't see that happening. You know,
that's why CJ Board's going to make the team because he's a great gunner. Yeah. He could play special teams, and Sills can't do something like that. That's what hurts him.
And Bachman's going to come down to the wire, and I'm rooting for him. Tony's, we don't know what's going on with him, right? If he's not going to practice for a while. Shepard, we don't know the timetable, although it's actually moving pretty well. He may be sooner than later.
Will he be ready for opening day, Chris? Did you hear anything?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I heard some chatter that it could be possible that he could be ready by opening day. He's
I thought there was a timeline for PUP. If you weren't if you were still on that, then you had to wait till like before the week or something.
Before the regular season, he can come off anytime.
Okay.
However, once you play that first game, I believe it's 4 weeks till you come off. So you have to be active right before that week 1.
Bachman and Sills to me, again, they won't be shockers, but they're definitely someone. I guess shocker's definitely not the word, but Richie James would be the one that I would say would be a guy that you thought was going to come in here and rip it open and really just shock everybody and just be a baller. And I don't see it. I think he's got heart, he's got speed, but I'm not wowed. You know what I mean? I'm not like, whoa.
Scored a touchdown if that's going to help him.
He's shifty.
Shifty, right. Very good.
How about Truth? Is there any player that you just want cut? You want off the
I think we covered that. Didn't we mention him already?
I don't, I have no animosity against any of these guys, but I just don't understand certain guys while they're still on the team. Like Jimenez is my biggest question mark. I know he's been playing better this training camp, but I just see if everybody's healthy, who they got. They got Roche, you got Ward, and if Smith even got praise for his play. I mean, you're talking depth there. I think I just mentioned 5 guys ahead of Jimenez. You can't. How many guys can you keep? So
Mark, I'm going to pop this on the screen here for you guys because we were just talking about it. Mark said,
Shepard.
I heard Shepard October 1st.
Okay.
Which by the way, is what I had heard basically Halloween. So that's at least in the month of October. So I think that if he's on PUP, that would give him 4 weeks in September, and then he'd be ready to go. So thanks, Mark. I appreciate that.
That's great.
Also, Mark is on fire today. CJ Board has got to be on the bubble because right now there's really no place for him as a wide receiver, and they've got enough guys to return kicks. You may get down to Bachman, CJ Board, and Richie James.
Yeah,
Board all fighting for the same spot.
Now, Board's going to be special team. He's a gunner. He'll make the team.
Yeah, but they don't need him if they have Richie James.
A gunner. He ain't going to play wide receiver. He's going to play special teams.
I'm saying, but Richie James is not going to start either.
No, but he'll be like a guy. He'll come in and get some snaps. I mean, he can be a starter. No, absolutely.
But you think CJ Board just because he's a gunner and
just like Cam Brown. That's the only reason why Cam Brown's making the team because they've done well in special teams.
Okay, good point. But I'm going to play devil's advocate. Is CJ Board is the 7th, maybe the 8th wide receiver.
I agree with that.
Where Cam Brown can play outside. Not that he's a good inside, but he can play weak side, like where Crowder plays. Like he play outside if he has to. He can play the strong like Blake does. Like he could play them. Not well.
Okay.
But when you think about linebackers, we got 5.
I know this isn't Joe Judge's team anymore, but you still got to have guys who can play special teams. So
yeah, without a doubt. Well, that's why I said about Bachman and Richie James. They both can play special teams. That's why guys like Sills, guys like Jimenez, and curse you on the Austin Allen thing. He's going to make the team.
We got to put a little side bet on this. We need a side bet.
He's a tight end. I don't know. That might be tough.
He's going to get somebody. I think he's going to find somebody in the waivers.
my over-unders for you guys. Okay. 3,500 yards passing, 500 rushing, KG 5.5 touchdowns, KT 700 yards, 35 sacks, Tibbs 6.5, Ojulari 8.5, picks for XMC, numbers of wins. I got all your stuff right here. Thanks for watching another episode of the Giants, guys. We were a little bit late today, so we're running a little bit longer than normal. NYGiantsRush.com. Check out the cool content there. We've got Leonard Marshall shirts. Really, I don't want to keep saying it over, but really hope you guys will talk to your friends and buy these shirts because we really want to support this guy about filling up the stadium with 70s t-shirts. So Mara's like, wow, I made a really good decision. Cool. Yeah.
Man. Awesome.
You know what I mean? And I'm only one guy, and these guys all have, they're only one guy. There's only 5 of us, 6 of us here at Rush. And we got lives just like you guys. Well, so there's only so much we can do. So if you know anybody that would love it, listen, 1, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps us out. We really, really support that. 2, I got to say, I saw Jay Bones is in here. I see Mark. I see Tom. I see Tuto. I see Sarah. You know what I need from you guys, because you guys are always here and some of you other guys are popping in and out. What I don't understand, and someone educate me, okay? Harry, I see you. Educate me. So some of you folks, we do interviews and nobody watches the interviews. So one is I can't figure out, should I stop doing interviews? Because we're known for our interviews. I just interviewed David Wilson last week and only 150 of you people watched it. I have 8,000 plus people follow me and 150 people watched our #1 draft pick in 2012. So my first thing is do you guys want me to not do interviews anymore? Because you guys aren't watching them. So, which is fine. I just would like to know because I always thought you guys loved the interviews. What's up, Sarah? Second thing is subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like, it helps us out, believe it or not, be able to do what we do. It helps us out resources. So tell your friends to pass it on. The third thing is you guys never make any comments in the comments. I go to other YouTube channels and there's strings of, beside Tuto, because Tuto, if you're out there still, you put like 8 comments for everything we always do, and we love you. Thank you very much. But if you guys are out there watching the show or you watch the YouTube channel, jump in the comments and say great show, or what do you guys come up like? Have some dialogue with the team. Those are the kind of things that help us out as a show. And yes, Mark, watching the interviews, we try to give you guys really cool interviews, but no one's really watching them lately. Now it's summertime, it's off season. I get it. Just want to ask you guys, you can put it in the chats. But when 150 people watch the Wilson interview, Chris, does that not like odd?
Yeah, it is odd because he's such a recent player as well. Besides, 2012 is not 10 years ago, but we all know David Wilson. We all know what happened with him.
But we know the story, right?
Yeah. And he flashed so much. He was electric.
Craig, are you talking about when you're watching live or when people watch it later on?
Later on.
Views? Okay.
Like views later on. Like, we do these interviews. Like, don't get me wrong. You watch like a Dan Orlovsky or a Daniel Bellinger, like those things take off, right? But there's some really good interviews that we have. And no one makes any comments on the YouTube channel. There's no one in the comments. The comments are cool, guys, to talk to everybody else, get their opinions in the YouTube. So follow, subscribe, drop down in the comments and tell us what you think. Like, Craig, that sucked, or that would be great. Or can you go chase this guy down? Let us know who you want us to interview. We really need that feedback. So no, not the live show, the recorded show, Truth. Like, how can 150 people of the 8,000 people that follow me don't watch, only watch the David Wilson interview? Like,
yeah,
I thought it was cool. First round draft pick who basically has to have fusion in his neck after 2 years. And
let me tell you something. I read his scouting report, and there's no way he runs a 4.49 40. Watching that guy run, there's no way.
He was fast as hell.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Yeah, and if you watch the interview, guys, you want Joe Morris? I'll track down Joe Morris for you, Tom. Mark Thompson. I'll track down Joe Morris for you. I will do that. What do you call it? He missed going to the Olympics by a centimeter. I mean, that's insane.
I know.
So, how about this? If you guys have Facebook pages out there, I'm not a big Facebook guy. If you have a Facebook guy, post on a Facebook page or a Giants page. Let them know we're here. We need as much support as anybody does. So I don't want to beg or plead, but hey, tell a friend, put us on your Facebook page. Let people know. Oh, J Bones. Listen. I'm gonna pop this up on screen here.
Oh, shocking.
Yeah. All right. So J Bone, check it out. I'm a huge Shockey fan. For my dad, for Father's Day 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I bought an authentic. Now look. So I have this helmet here, right? It's just a replica helmet. They're not real pads inside, right? And it's autographed by the player I hated the most, Olivier Vernon. Okay. But I bought my dad an actual Giants helmet signed by Shockey. Loved Shockey. Okay. Like, yeah, he was his own worst enemy and he wanted the ball all the time. But yes, J Bones, I have tried Shockey probably 6-7 times and nothing. Like, J Bones, if you get me to interview Shockey, I will pay you to get me Shockey. And I'm serious. I will pay you a finder's fee to get me Shockey. I'd love that. But I do need you guys any support. Again, follow, subscribe. Engage in the comments. Post on your Facebook pages. Let us know. An Instagram account is on its way. I had one. And someone hacked it before I launched it, so I can't get into it. So I'm going to create a new Instagram account. So I hope you guys are cool with the gram. The IG stuff's coming. TikTok. I have a TikTok account that Tommy had. He just turned that over to me. And if you guys don't know, we brought on Nikki Six, which I call. Yes, we brought on Nikki, guys, who will be rocking the fantasy stuff. I'm not a fantasy guy. Don't take this the wrong way. I freaking hate fantasy. I cannot root for the Dallas Cowboy tight end and the Eagles defense. I can't do it. So, but Nikki, who crushes fantasy, JPP, he's still playing until he retires. They don't allow us to interview active players, unless you have credentials. And even then you're covering a team, not interviewing the team. So I would have loved to interview JPP, Tuto, but it's not. I'm not saying I can't when he retires, just not yet. All right, guys, let's move on to what you want to see against the Bengals. Right, that's our next game, correct?
Yep. Yeah, Chris.
Sunday. Yeah, so I want to see here we go back to the offensive line. I want to see the offensive line continue to plug guys in there like Brederson. If Max Garcia has to play. Who knows if Izzuto will play? We don't really know what the story is with him. Lemieux will probably be out. Feliciano at center. So if Feliciano's playing, I want to see a push with him. Let's run the ball over 100 yards again. I think you're going to see our starters go maybe to the second half because ideally this is like the third preseason game traditionally where guys play. So I think you're going to see a little bit more, of the starters. Let's go to halftime.
I was looking at my Twitter, and my friend Joe DiMarzio says, Victor Cruz. Anybody get me Victor Cruz? I'll pay for that too. And you know what? Heck, I mean, Rodney Hampton too. I tried to reach out to him. But yes, I agree. Offensive line is definitely something you want to see gel, Chris, because you go into game one, with all this uncertainty if your line doesn't gel. Right.
Yeah. If I could add one more thing, I'd like to see Colin Johnson continue. Let's see him how he does against the first team defense of the Bengals.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. You're not expecting him to be anything more than a 4, correct?
Colin Johnson? Yeah, I would think 4 would probably be the right spot for him.
Okay.
Him or James will get that. I think that's the competition right there for that 4th spot.
And they can be interchangeable too, guys.
Yeah.
They could be, if you're inside the 20, you should probably go with Collins if you want to do red zone.
I agree. Yeah.
It all depends the situation.
2 different spots, but yeah.
They'd probably both make the team.
I agree.
I got them making the team of mine.
Yeah. I mean, it would be shocking if Johnson didn't make the team. I would be quite shocked on that one. Richie James, things like I said, I like him, but if he doesn't make it, I'm not going to be crushed. Truth, anything you want to see against this Bengal team that you didn't see last week?
Well, I want to see my secondary play better. That's for darn sure. And we all know who the guys are. I want to see a little more passion, a little better coverage. I also want to see somebody just show up, like who we're not expecting. Like maybe someone like let's see. Let me think of somebody like a tight end. Just show and just have a really good game. Just hopefully get the ball and really put some numbers up. It's just something different. That's what I want to see. Like Bellinger. Let's just say Bellinger. Let's see him get like maybe 8 targets, get like 6 receptions, something like that.
That would be freaking awesome.
Maybe get 60 plus yards. I'd be happy with 10 yards a catch.
I agree that I'd like to see them unroll Bellinger a little bit.
Yeah.
He's only been targeted like 5-6 times all at camp.
Yeah. Guy's a good blocker. And let's get back some traditional seam passes for our tight ends.
They're saving him for Tennessee, Craig.
It could be.
Saving him for Tennessee. They don't want anybody to know.
Teams do that, Chris. That's true. They do that.
Listen, that's fine. I hope so.
I'd like to see some offensive prowess is what I'd like to see. I mean, okay, so I'm at football practice an hour ago, and I'm working with the running backs, and one of the coach's son says, I'm wearing this Giants hat here. What's up, Danny? Awesome to see you guys are still live. I'm sure I missed a fun. Yeah, of course it's a fun one, Dan. It's the Giants guys. I'll put Dan. We put Dan up on here. He says, I'm sure I missed a fun one. Yeah, look, for one, Dan, of course, because we're always fun. And secondly, yeah, we started a little bit late because I was at football practice. And the story I was about to tell you was, so I live down in Eagles country, and I'm at practice, and I'm wearing this black lid here, the blackout Giants logo, and the coach's son says, hey, your boy looked good against New England. And I'm like, who's my boy? He's like, and he goes, Jones, you look really good. And I'm like, are you messing with me right now? He's like, no. He goes, I thought he looked really good. And it dawned on me that only the Giants fans hate Jones. And like the rest of the world was like, the rest of the world was like, he didn't look bad. He had some zip on the ball. He threw a couple nice slants, he did a decent job, which he did. I don't know if he's the guy, but he's going to get as much rope as possible, or leeway as possible. Yeah, so he can try. Look, here's the number one thing I want everybody to remember. I want offensive prowess because I want Jones to actually okay, let me hit the reset button. There's so much subbing in camp that nobody gets to gel with anybody. Like Jones is in there throwing a Galladay one play, and the very next play he's throwing to Alex Bachman. And like the offense needs to practice by themselves in a bubble with nobody around. Like I'm like there's no consistency, like none. They just keep rotating guys. Like Jones needs 100 snaps, but he gets 10. Like it's absurd. Like, I mean, nobody gets to gel. Just throw the ball at the tight end, as Mike just said, 5-6 times. Throw the ball at Galladay 8 times. Like, get some consistency and some flow. But they don't. They always look all dysfunctional. They're out of whack. They even fumbled the ball at the end of camp, like the exchange from the center to Jones. Like, that's like the number one thing that gets you cut.
They did it twice, Craig, when Webb was in there, too. They did it like twice in a row. And it wouldn't look good.
So I'm looking for offensive prowess. I just stuffed the ball on the Galladay a bunch of times. When I was a kid, they said, if you can't stop it, I'm going to keep running it. Just keep throwing the ball at Galladay so you know he can catch it. And then when you're done with that, throw a bunch of screens to Barkley. And when you're done with that, throw a bunch of long balls to Slayton. Like, just, I don't know. I just want to see some offensive prowess. Because let me tell you, they're going to lose 40-0 because they got some of the best receivers in the game. You know, like they're going to be throwing. If Burrow plays,
he's not playing. I heard.
No, he's
not playing. Yeah, okay. I heard a lot of guys, starters aren't playing for them.
Well, Burrow had appendicitis.
That's true. Yeah.
So I don't know if he's ready to go.
Now, Craig, I don't want to jump the gun, but next week will be interesting when the Giants scrimmage the Jets, I believe, on the 25th. So they haven't scrimmaged in 10 years, and it was a brawl. That, you know, the whole New York, you know, football thing, that in a scrimmage will be pretty intense.
I gotta disagree there. They don't that on a quote unquote scrimmage, but they play them in preseason almost every year.
Right, but the scrimmage seems like when they practice together, like a lot of teams today, there was a brawl. I think it was the Panthers and Pittsburgh. No, Panthers. Somebody else had a big brawl.
Okay,
it might have been New England, but it seems like these scrimmages they get a little more feistier than the actual games. So.
Yeah. Real quick one. I know we're ending here, but you mentioned his name. Are the Giants going to keep 3 quarterbacks, you think? On a 53-man roster? They haven't done that in a long time.
No, and Webb is realistically, if you read the story, Buffalo was going to hire him as the QB coach.
Right.
You know, which is a $250,000 a year job, or he can go try to play backup QB for league minimum is $950,000.
Truth. He'll make the 55, right? 55, and then on game day he won't dress, and he'll be help coaching. He'll be help coaching on the sideline.
Yeah, you get 2 or 3 birds in one stone, right? Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Yeah, J-Bone says that it was New England. They had the brawl.
Yeah, I heard it was bad. I didn't see the video yet.
Yeah, I don't like the Webb thing. Basically, you know, he's here as a basically a coach player, but you know, in his defense, you know, you want to make 250 coaching QBs, or do you want to be the backup QB, carry a clipboard, and make 900? Which is
here's the other point, guys. Daniel Jones has yet to play a full season. So at some point, are we expecting him to be injured when you're going to need him anyway as the backup to Tyrod Taylor? So in that case, you might as well keep him because the pattern seems to be Jones can't complete a full season.
Yeah, and that extra 2 spots is probably be very important.
Right. So
I say, yeah. For that purpose, yeah.
Yeah, Jones has just got it. Like the thing that I got into it on Twitter with a couple guys today is that if Jones succeeds, it doesn't mean that you win more games. It doesn't mean that you lose games, but his success does not ride on winning. The guy could throw for 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns, and they still could only win 5 games. Like, that's what people don't understand. It's making me bonkers.
Yeah, that's true.
They're 2 exclusive things. The quarterback's success can propel you to wins. But he can have success, and you can still lose because your defensive backs are terrible. You know, you've got injuries that get in your way. You've got, you know, a half-ass wide receiver group. He could throw the snot out of the ball by screen passes to Saquon Barkley. You guys realize that counts, right? If he throws a 5-yard pass to Barkley and Barkley goes 95 yards, it's 95 yards.
Pass,
he only threw for 5. What you folks don't understand is that if he throws a 10-yard pass and he runs, the quarterback gets that yardage again, unless something's changed.
No,
it hasn't.
So the big time numbers don't equate to wins all the time. You know, how good are you in the red zone? Well, the Giants have been abysmal. The Giants have all rookie defensive backs, basically outside of Love and McKinney. You got rookies in the slot. Darnell Holmes was hurt for a year. He was a rookie 3 years ago. Flott's hurt. You know, Robinson basically is a rookie because he missed all his – right? How many games did Robinson miss last year, Truth?
He missed a lot. I mean, I can't give you a number, but he missed a lot of games.
He missed like 8. Well, maybe more, maybe 8 or 9.
Maybe more. I thought it was more than 8.
Because he came back after the abdomen surgery, probably at like 9 or 10 games in. Yeah.
So those people like getting all over me. Look, I wanted to be straight with you folks. I don't know if Jones is the guy. I don't know if Jones isn't the guy. I'm supporting him because he's the quarterback. I want to win because I'm tired of sitting there in the rain, the snow, in the cold, watching crap football. So, of course, I want him to do well. And if he, but again, if he does well, you're talking about maybe a franchise tag. If he does bad, they cut him. If he does mediocre,
Same thing.
And the other thing is this, guys, Tyrod Taylor's been in the league for 10 years. He's historically a backup quarterback. He's only 6 feet tall. His ball, he's accurate. His ball's doesn't have a lot of zip on it. It tends to float. He's, but total professional, smart cat, knows the offense because of the whole Buffalo thing. Great locker room guy. I'm rooting for Tyrod too. But the Giants are going to have to go out most likely and draft a guy like Van Dyke from Miami or I don't think they'll have – I think they're going to win 7-8 games. I don't think they're going to be able to – I'm not a Stroud guy anyway, but if Young and Stroud go at the top, and if the Jets now have a quarterback with a torn, whatever, MCL.
No, I thought it was just
meniscus. They cleaned it up. Yeah, so he'll be back. Actually,
Craig, real quick. Dan puts down. We know Jones isn't the guy. No, we don't know. I don't know why he says that. He must know something we don't know.
Yeah, we know Jones isn't the guy. Yeah, it's Dan. Dan's just gonna do that. Like at the end of the day. Like you want him to succeed. I don't know between Jones's faults, right? The wide receiver's faults and a young offensive line. It doesn't equate to a lot of great things. And he's not going to carry the team. You're basically in this really odd spot as, can you coach Jones up with Kafka and Dable to eliminate the mistakes that he was making? Do you have a couple playmakers that are going to win you some games? Like the Giants haven't had any playmakers. Barkley's back, and you're hoping Tony's back. I don't think Galladay's a big playmaker. He may grab a ball or two. Big deal.
And Robinson,
thank
Robinson
you.
too.
Thank you. You're hoping for Robinson and Barkley and Tony to be the playmakers because they haven't had any playmakers. I'm not waiting on Galladay and $74 million. He just stole from the Giants, and for all I know, he may just, go fishing. You know what I mean? But if Tony's healthy, Robinson's healthy, and Barkley's healthy, you got some playmakers. Jones will have to elevate his game to get them the ball. No idea what he's going to do. No idea. But they're still going to have to look at a quarterback one way or another, right? It's inevitable if you don't want to pay this guy all that money. But I want to be clear that if he has a great year, it doesn't always equate to wins.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right? Am I crazy about it?
And that shouldn't be the reason. And that shouldn't be the reason that you don't bring him back because the Giants end up, let's say, 5-12. If he throws for 4,000 yards, like you said, Craig, and has a good ratio, touchdowns and NITs, they're gonna bring him back.
Yeah, if he throws for 3,800 yards and 28 touchdowns and only 11 interceptions, like it's a good year. But
and the Giants are losing 35-31 because Adoree Jackson went down. They have nobody.
Or Adoree Jackson drops 3 interceptions in his hand, or like whatever it may be, like. Now, we hope that doesn't happen, but I'm just saying that success from the quarterback doesn't equate to wins. Sometimes, Jones is not an elite quarterback. I've said this 1,000 times. People just want to argue that there are 5, 6, 7 franchise quarterbacks that get paid like franchise quarterbacks. They can elevate a team to go to the Super Bowl, and they can win the Super Bowl. Then there's a next tier of quarterbacks that get paid. I stress again, they get paid like they're star quarterbacks and struggle to get to be an elite. You know what I mean? Like Kyler Murray and Tannehill and, Kirk Cousins and, these guys get paid like elite quarterbacks, but they're highly unlikely to win a Super Bowl unless they get put on a Super Bowl caliber team. Those guys do not raise the level, but they get paid. They get paid like those guys. Like if Jones can be a middle of the road quarterback, like I know that's not what you want. I get it. But if he's a middle of the road quarterback and you got stars, Robinson turns to being a star. Bellinger turns into be a star. Barkley gets re-signed and turns into a star. Those guys, then your quarterback's in a good spot. If I put Kirk Cousins or Tannehill on the Giants, do they win 10 games?
I think so.
Truth?
Cousins, maybe not Tannehill. Cousins, yeah.
Hey, maybe, yeah.
Who went to the playoffs last year? Cousins or Tannehill?
Tannehill.
Henry was hurt.
He did.
Yeah, I mean, Tannehill's a perfect example of what you're saying right now because he had a great supporting cast when Tennessee made that run.
Yep.
I mean, great supporting cast on both sides of the ball. I mean, so that's a perfect example.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Somebody say something. Hang on, I missed one of these comments. Watson was playing at an MVP level, and the Texans were terrible. Yeah, well, that's because he's basically a sexual predator, and that guy should never be allowed to play again.
Don't hold back, Greg. Don't hold back.
Hey, listen. How about this? If I do something wrong once, I'm like, okay. I do it twice. People are like, dude, are you dumb? I do it 3 or 4 times. Now I'm like, it might be something wrong with him. 20 to 29 times, you got a problem. You have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And shame on the Browns, I think. I really do.
Yeah.
Shame on the Browns for signing him, going after him.
Yeah.
Guaranteed money.
You give him a big old blank check. What do you call it? All right, so we're going to wrap up pretty much here. Look, whether Jones, like I said, does well or not, we need him to do well. We want to win. We want to have a better season. It's going to definitely depend on what this line turns into. Definitely, Dan's got to get the ball out of his hand. He does still hold the ball too long. Chris, did we not see him do that in camp?
Yeah, you and I both. You've always heard, you guys have heard this, and everybody's heard this. Listen, that internal clock. You've heard former quarterbacks say, some guys just don't have it, and that concerns me with Jones. Does he have that internal clock where he knows he has to get rid of the ball? And we saw the other day, he holds on to it. And can he feel the pressure? That's the other concern I have with him. He doesn't feel the pressure. And they say you either can feel the pressure or you can't. I feel like Jones doesn't have that. But
that's a biggie. That's a biggie.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have the supporting cast. I mean, he just doesn't. When Tony's always hurt, listen, if Tony's not hurt, Barkley's not hurt, you got an offensive line. Again, there's a lot of keys that go.
Yeah, there is. We beat him up a lot, but he's had no stability for the time he's been here. I mean, that's the one thing. He's gone through coaches, gone through offensive line systems or offensive systems, different offensive lines. Guys hasn't worked out. I'd like to see him with some stability and see what he can do.
Yeah, it's just once, right? Just once.
Right. The key to all this right now, and we can kind of wrap it up on this, the key to right now is what Kafka lets him do. He threw slants, right, and quick passes, got the ball out of his hand. Dan's just spouting off as usual about internal clock, can't feel the pressure. Can't feel the pressure. He's got pressure he's got the 29th ranked offensive line.
Yeah.
You got to have a supporting cast. My big thing is, can Kafka put him in a good enough spot? Get the ball out of his hand. Get the ball out of his hands. Use your playmakers. Barkley out of the backfield, right? Kafka's the key because he's done it with Mahomes for 4 years. Look who's the number 1 receiver in Kansas City outside of Hill. Well, I know Hill's gone, but it's Kelsey. We finally got a tight end. There should be enough that he could be serviceable to better than serviceable to winning games.
Just remember this: if they can run the football, that's going to help him in the passing game, obviously, because it would slow down the rush, right? They have to respect Barkley, right? So that's key. So that's like you said, Craig. It's key. They have to be a balanced offensive team.
Again, it comes down. Wrap it up with a bow. 3,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11, 12 interceptions. Still doesn't mean you win 10 games, right? He can have a successful year. It still doesn't mean he wins games, right? The team has to win games, right? The O-line's got to be there. The receivers got to be there. We don't have any dog wide receivers, right? So, like guys that just snatch the ball, getting yak yards after the catch, that kind of stuff. So it could be a year where we're kind of pining away for a lot of runs because Barkley looks healthy and fresh, and we definitely know that we can run block, right?
Yeah.
So, great job, guys. We listened to another episode of Giants, guys. Again, please subscribe, please follow, please jump into the comments. Tell us what you're thinking. If you want more interviews, pass them to your friends. Let people know what we're doing because it's a head scratcher to interview all these great football players and you guys aren't watching it. I don't know why, but I'd love to see you guys get more involved with these interviews because the players respond to what we do, but they also love the fact when we bring them back and we do more stuff with them like we do with Chase Blackburn or like we do with Leonard. Last but not least, Leonard Marshall shirts. Monday, September 26th, the Giants play Dallas. We're going to kick Dallas's ass in MetLife. It's going to be the Ring of Honor game, so I hope you're all going. And please support. The money goes, I told you, to a great foundation, Leonard Marshall Foundation, security on college campuses. The $20 for the unsigned, $35 for it signed. I'm going to his house tomorrow to get these guys signed because today was media day. So if you haven't checked out, the Giants made the announcement, 7 people, Ring of Honor. Did you guys get a chance to watch it yet or no?
I didn't see it.
Go to Giants.com and watch all the video, Truth. It's awesome.
All right.
And that's it. It's late. Way late. Wrapping it up. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with Nikki for some fantasy. We'll drop in the Belt guy. We'll drop in Spartan Mike. And hey, who knows? Maybe we'll have one of the Ring of Honor inductees like Leonard Marshall.
Wow.
And you got to get me on with Nikki.
Man.
At one point.
Truth's like, I got to talk some fantasy. Fantasy football.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Love you,
All right,
people.
later.